even if we have to think short term, आज के लिए भी नहीं है, because we are literally risking our lives with floods. We are coastal city. To mess around with mangroves is the last thing that you have to do to dig your own grave.
What demographic or what cohort of that public benefits? It's definitely not the common man. I think you and I both know that they are going to construct the road.
If you can feel the temperature, it is not what we were feeling outside on the concrete road. It's so much different.
We want to understand a little more about how the afforestation practices are being done. If you're expecting normal people to consistently litigate for clarification of what does impacted mean, I think that's very problematic, right? Hi, I'm Vidushi.
I am Pooja.
So, what are your concerns about the construction of the coastal road?
Do you want to go first?
Okay. Multiple concerns. What happens to the ecosystem here? And this is not something like we can keep on hold for a few years and then expect the ecosystem to be thriving again. Also, what happens when we remove this natural infrastructure of the cities? What I mean is, what happens if it floods? What happens if the air quality goes really high, the temperatures go really high? Because mangroves work as natural infrastructure in terms of flood control, heat control, air quality control. Also, what about the fisher folks? How are we expecting them to sustain their livelihoods without this ecosystem?
I think for me, I would say I want to challenge the mandate of who the construction is for, right? Because if you're saying that this is something that is created in the interest of the public, what demographic or what cohort of that public benefits, right? It's definitely not the common man, right? Because he's getting squeezed from all corners. So is this infrastructure for people who belong to a certain strata who can afford to pay the toll, right? One of the things that BMC touts is, I believe what they say is that the carbon emissions are going to go down, right? What cost benefit analysis is this? Where you're going to cut the mangroves and put more cars on the roads and make it easier for cars to be in the air. Like I'm missing the logic here maybe, but I think, yeah, these are multifold concerns we have as citizens, right? Our air quality, our livelihoods, right? Climate, urban heat, floods. We don't want the 2006 tsunami to happen again. And if mangroves are important for protection, and flooding is a very real risk, given that Mumbai is built largely on reclaimed land, right? So you're constructing more without really taking into the account the sensitive ecology of the place, then who benefits from this development and at what cost does it really come to us?
What are your expectations and demands from the BMC?
I think it would be a little, to be very honest, very unrealistic to expect that BMC is not going to construct the road. I think you and I both know that they are going to construct the road. Stretch, right? If you see, the trees were up till here, where you see this wall where we are filming from, they were till here. They've chopped it off. You can see half-cut trees, mangroves, and this is just one part, right? This cutting and chopping is happening simultaneously at all pockets across where the mangroves and Versova Bay and the rest, the coastal road has to come. So this is just one small part. I think it would be a fool's errand to think that we have as citizens, although we live in a democracy, the power to change that. But we want BMC to have a conversation with us, right? Address our concerns, right? Did you consider alternate suggestions for the map, like for the road? Is there any way for you to build a road in a way that does not chop so many of the trees and the green infrastructure and doesn't sacrifice that? There are examples everywhere across the world, right? Are we saying that BMC is not capable of bringing that kind of talent to India and creating a road that actually benefits without really sacrificing so many trees? Like, I don't believe so. I think BMC has a lot of resources. And if you're going to allot 20,000 crores for a small pocket, right, that means you have a lot more.
I think slightly optimistic. I would want them to scrap the road project, honestly. Slightly, nahi, overly, I know. But yes, I would want to because if BMC says that their primary agenda is to reduce the traffic, I want them to focus on public transport.
What is the annual budget of BST bus?
It is reducing day by day.
Anybody can tell annual budget BST का? BST बस का annual budget 1000 करोड़ है, just 1000 करोड़. And you see BST बस का 10 साल पहले 5000 से ज्यादा बस हमारे पास थी. That number has reduced to just 2005. 50% उसका पूरा रिडक्शन हमारे BST बस में हो गया है. और वो वहाँ पे फंड के लिए वो भीख मांग रहे हैं. They are forced to beg to the government.
The infrastructure of BST, it's not just AC buses that add. I mean, we need more buses on the roads than just AC buses. We need people to be able to travel from point A to point B smoothly. Best service is legit a fantastic service with amazing connectivity that Mumbai has. Why really ruin it, and why not focus on that if you really want to focus on traffic, because I don't think coastal road is needed. So yeah.
So, what is the response been of the government when you gone to them saying, let's come to the people, let's have a conversation? How have they responded?
I think much like anything, the government is made of people who really oppose you and people who talk to you, right? It's got a mix of people. So the government's response has been very scattered, I would say. It's not, it's like, for example, if there's some place where a notice has to be put, it's placed in a very obscure newspaper, right? There's no timeline to it. It's all, so we have to be as reactionary depending on who gets a response, right? If a certain number of people are sending in objections, only few of them get responses, not all of them.
So, you were speaking about data, wanting data from them. What kind of data would you want?
We want to understand a little more about how the afforestation practices are being done, right?
Survey number 342 in Bandar is a site where compensatory afforestation of mangroves is being done. We just checked on Google Earth. We saw that the channels were made way back in 2022 and some plantations were already done. Now let me show you the absurdity or lack of science in this entire process. Where I'm standing, you can see the channel is much below 5 feet or more, I would say, from the place where the mangroves are supposed to be planted. The channels that you see here, you can see this, they are supposed to plant the mangroves next to it. Now I'll show you what is the state of the earlier plantations. You can see this dead 1, dead 2, dead 3, dead 4, dead 5, and the list is endless. The entire channel is full of dead mangroves. Even if you can see it, here also you will find that the mangroves have died. They have claimed a 95% success rate of survival here. These channels are running dry. It is almost around high tide when we have come here. The water has not reached in this area. You can see, I'll walk inside the channel so that you get a better idea. It is not even damp. So such unscientific methods of plantations are used. You can see the state of this sapling here. How do they expect it will grow? Now this land is elevated, and whenever there's a spring tide or when the monsoon tides are higher, some amount of water comes onto this land, and you'll see some mangroves have grown naturally also. So these are not the mangroves which have been planted earlier or which has come as a result of afforestation.
A lot of us have written to them asking, we've asked MOFCC, what is the status on afforestation? Because it must happen simultaneously as tree felling happens, or before that they cannot have any tree felling, right? So we have certain concerns with regard to that. We want to understand what other alignment projects did they consider, right? We need to understand what was the basis of the cost benefit analysis that they have done, where they say that X number of carbon will be reduced, right? Like what is the baseline? Like what have you considered for that metric? Where does that number come from? Let's start from a basic question. How many trees are actually going to get cut? Right? Is it 45,000? Is it 60,000? Is it 9,000? Right? When they say 45,000 trees are going to be impacted, where do we ask? If you're expecting normal people to consistently litigate for clarification of what does impacted mean, right? I think that's very problematic, right? What does impacted mean? Impacted could mean anything. They are impacted and then they died. As simple as that, right? So we need those clarifications. There is a lot of climate anxiety already that exists in people. And we are very right in asking those questions. So come to the table and clarify this.
In fact, my experience with BMC at a public hearing for this very coastal road wasn't. They literally took it as public hearing, as a meeting wherein they were like, okay, aapka ye concern hai, okay, we are noting it down. We are noting it down. They literally just heard it and did not answer any question. So the problem is they are doing whatever is needed just as a formality and not really addressing the concerns that people are raising.
So how have you raised awareness about this issue? What have you done to raise awareness about this issue?
We're trying to talk to whether it is local people residing here, whether it is about people in other parts of the city or the country, trying to have these little mangrove walks where people can come and understand what is at stake, because a lot of it is coming from the place of disconnection. Sorry. We don't know what we are going to lose out on. We are sitting here and look at, just if you can feel the temperature, it is not what we were feeling outside on the concrete road. It's so much different.
People across the country are increasingly protesting against ecological destruction.
तर मुंबईचे झाडं वाचलेच पाहिजे सर. आपण मुंबईकर आहोत. मुंबईमध्ये झाडं राहणार आणि ते कापले जाणार नाही.
From 45,000 mangroves being affected for Mumbai's coastal road project, to trees being targeted in Nashik for Kumbh infrastructure, to the KBR Park protest in Hyderabad, to the destruction of the Aravali's. Every tree cut today is becoming tomorrow's heat wave. These protests are intensifying because ecological damage is no longer something distant. People are directly experiencing its impact every day. Burning hot summers, flooding, water shortage, disappearing green cover, poor air quality, dust-filled air causing children and adults to fall sick. People are no longer imagining climate change. They are living in it.
Is it disheartening the way things are going? How do you keep going? What pushes you to keep going despite the roadblocks, despite the setbacks?
What option do you have? No. I don't think so. We have an option. This is and at least that's my assessment. This is the last leg of what Mumbai has. If these mangroves are wiped out, the urban heat is going to go out of control. It's going to cause flood risk. I don't know then what would be left of Mumbai.
I am a local here, and every day seeing them chop off those trees. I used, on the road that I used to take a walk regularly, it does feel really bad. What I'm going to lose is not something that others who are not residing in this area will connect with. Even if we have to think short term, आज के लिए भी नहीं है, because we are literally risking our lives with floods. We are coastal city. To mess around with mangroves is the last thing that you have to do to dig your own grave. I don't think it makes sense.
What are the plans for the movement further? I think a lot of other intelligent and forthright people have already litigated on the issue, and the litigation is ongoing for that, I believe. So the route that we have ahead is to make sure that every kid knows what they're losing out on. That every corner of Bombay needs to resonate with our message needs to understand that we need to save Mumbai mangroves. That is the route ahead.
Development, so important for us to understand what is the definition of development. What does it mean actually? Does development always need to be at the cost of environmental treasure? I would say, why do you need to always say हम समंदर में से जगह ले लेंगे and we'll call it reclaim? It was never yours to reclaim. You just claimed something that did not it wasn't yours. But always concretization is not development.
I'd say please go out and see Mumbai for what it truly is, a biodiversity treasure that's being destroyed one step at a time.
Yeah.
The city is not just us humans, it's a lot of wildlife, it's a lot of rich ecosystems, and we need to protect them because then the next in line for extinction is us.
Yeah.
So I think that's all I have to say to people of Mumbai. Please come together.
Thank you.